Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and this is Connor.
Hi guys.
We're going to talk about Preacher Season 1, Episode 8. It's called, I'm going to say this slowly, El Valero. I'm not good with words with R's and L's in them.
Typical
Well,
Scottish
with a
fool.
lot of them together, I mean, I can say right and left. They're fine. R's and L's on their
The,
own.
the amazing
Yeah.
irony that would have been if you'd said that wrong then.
Yeah, like if, I can, one R, one L's fine, but when you start mixing them, it's difficult for me, and some of these, it looks Spanish, I guess, because it says L at the start.
Spanish, Mexican, yeah.
Mexicans speak Spanish, yes.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm saying
Yeah.
one of those areas. That's probably what it's.
Well, it's Texas, so I assume it's more Mexico related, because
Yeah,
it's near that part of the world. But yeah, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, this was Preacher's last stand, as it were.
Yeah.
Held up in the church with his assault rifle, which he got from one of the dudes that he beat up the first
There
wave
we
that
go.
went in. Yeah.
Aye.
So
It's not too shabby with it either.
no, it was quite good. It was he shot off someone's dick.
Yeah, a very, very good shot. Especially as it seemed to be quite a small target by the way he was holding it.
I don't know. I feel like once it's cut off, it'll always look small just because it'll shrivel up and it's not getting any blood in it.
Yeah, but let's just keep the joke, shall we?
You alright, Clive? Shot my dick off.
It's the way he's all right. You're like, what's in his hand?
Oh, that was pretty funny. This was not a bad episode. I enjoyed it. It was a fun action time sort of episode.
Yeah, it was a solid middle of the pack episode for Preacher, but as the quality's been pretty high overall, that's still a good episode.
Yeah, because it did spend a lot of time on the arse face like fake out,
Yeah,
and I was pretty sure right away that it wasn't real.
but it went a long time wanting you to believe it, didn't it?
It did, because as soon as he said he was going to phone his dad, I was like, no, don't phone his dad. He's not really there. Don't do it. Like,
It's even if you didn't think that, he immediately says, "Let's not do that just yet."
yeah, yeah.
That's the giveaway I think that they want you to take away from it.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean that stuff was fine. Like I like that they're dealing with his guilt over that. That they're not just like because he was being
Yeah,
a bit
it's important, isn't it?
yeah because he was being a bit inhumane last week, and obviously that's what the last week's episode built up to when he started
Yeah.
begging. He was begging for him to bring him back. Like God, I'll do anything, just bring him back. I made a goddamn mistake,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that was fine, and like that gives him the motivation to actually get the angel dudes in to actually try and remove it, which they succeed in for about 30 seconds before it immediately goes back into him.
Yeah, completely destroying its vessel as well. I don't know if they call it a vessel. I can't remember, but so I'm going to call it.
Coffee tin.
Yeah, it's a vessel, isn't it?
It's also a coffee tin.
It is also a coffee tin, but that's happenstance.
I like the opening of the show, giving us the backstory for why King Cannon's as fucked up as he is.
Yeah.
Is that his wife and his daughter died in a freak accident.
His whole family, wasn't it? Because it was a Kincannon family.
Was it the whole family? Sure.
Yeah, I think that was all. If that was like his whole extended family, it's a lot of them.
Alright, well, yeah, well, you would be fucked up then, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I think wife and daughter would do it, but I mean, if literally everyone with your last name was,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah.
and he's messing around with intestines and
Trying to find the soul, basically.
yeah, and not succeeding. So that gives us a whole thing. See when he's motivating the troops, as it were, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to have all types of cuisine," and he's like, "What do you mean, like a food court? What do you mean food court? It's like when they have like different options of restaurants in the one place. Yeah, food court. Like,
I love that he thought he'd like invented this idea.
yeah."
He's like, well, no sushi until we take down this church.
Dear. Also, I don't entirely buy that what he's doing right now in this whole situation is legal. Yeah, everyone was acting like it was.
Verbal contracts are legal. The
No,
only
no, no,
key
no, no.
thing
Whoa!
is
I'm not talking about a verbal contract. I'm talking about an all-out assault with an army
right. Okay,
to get him out of
that
the building.
yeah, that part maybe not so much.
He's got a fucking fleet. He's doing battle plans. He's like, right, the first wave will go in. You're going to be the human shields. No part of this is legal. No, I'm saying it needs to be initial like Preacher. Preacher's an over the top show, but like, just the way the sheriff is just like, this is a bit of business. This, huh?
I think it's just like deal with yourself. Why is he going to get involved? He doesn't care enough. He's just not that great a cop, is he?
Well, no, he's not, but you know. I don't know. I don't know. Tulip was getting a dog, and it turned
It was
out.
another thing I saw coming a bit too early, and it went on a little bit too long over the episode, I think.
You thought that? We only had 2 scenes with her.
I know, but they were spaced out so far that it felt like it was a lot. It was weirdly.
I didn't feel that. I felt like we seen her. I was like, oh, right, so there was Tulip in this episode. I'm like, and then we see her again, and I'm like, oh, right, so Tulip's still around. Like, you know,
I know, but it really lingers on these scenes, and I feel like they just, I don't know.
No, for me, all it just pointed out was how much this episode was focused on purely Jesse, because hardly anyone else that we usually seen is in it.
They're not, but I just feel like they didn't need to be quite as spaced out. I don't know, it felt like it just felt like, you know how we were saying it lingered on the arse face too long before it told you?
Uh-huh.
I feel like this, over the whole episode, was too long before anything happens with it. Even though there's only 2 scenes, I feel like it's over too much time.
I don't think I agree. And the reason why I disagree is because after the scene happened, I just completely forgot that it happened. And, like, so when it went back to her later, I was like, oh yeah, that's right, Tulip bought a dog. Like,
Fair enough.
like I wasn't sitting going, oh, I wonder what she's doing with that dog. Like,
So no, you're not thinking there, but it's just, I just think it was too long between it for me anyway. But
what would you rather do? Would you rather they had the first part of it later in the episode or the second part earlier? What's the better solution?
I think you have to do first part later because it still needs to end at the same point, right? Like where it ends is the right place for it to end because obviously of what it is has to be towards the end of the episode. Because otherwise you gotta go, well, where's he the whole episode as well?
Yeah,
Like,
which I was.
but if you move it forward, you have to think, why is he not come out after that? So you have to add in an extra plot. So I'd have moved the first one later.
Fair enough, but I've got a feeling the decision to put the first part where it was purely to break up the other stuff at that point. Otherwise, you'd be with what was going on just for too long uninterrupted.
Potentially.
I think that was there for that reason, and I think because you had some scenes with Emily and the mayor and stuff.
Yeah.
Early on, which broke things up a little bit, but once they arrived at the same scene as everyone else, that wasn't breaking anything up. So all you had left to break up things now were Tulip.
Yeah, fair enough.
Speaking of the whole thingy, Kincaid's right hand man, the one who has been scared shitless of Preacher since like episode 2. Donnie, there you go. I have to admit, I didn't completely get what the fuck he was doing in the boot of his car.
I didn't either. I thought it looked like he was trying to shoot the hydraulics and make it like drop on his head or something.
Yeah, because see when he put his head in, I'm like, this is a really elaborate way to kill yourself. Just shoot yourself.
Yeah, I thought it was like, is he trying to shoot the hydraulics and make it drop down his neck? Like, what's he doing?
To be fair, what he did was pretty smart.
Shockingly so.
Yeah, like it makes sense. Make himself deaf, and
yeah,
Preacher can't tell him to do anything. So, nah, that was fair enough. That was a nice reveal.
Yeah, it was actually really good because I wasn't expecting. I didn't realize that is what had happened when we saw the pool of blood.
Yeah, especially since there was no one, because you'd still hear the gunshot where everyone else was, so we didn't see anyone else react to it, which I thought was strange. But obviously now in retrospect, it's probably because they heard the gunshot, turned round, and he just sort of stands up and he's fine. So no one cares that much.
Yeah,
you know, like. So.
Yeah, it was weird for the moment, but then it's fine.
Yeah, it made sense in the end. The episode ended with a really weird scene. It was really out of context, not connected to anything, of a guy in like some sort of weird like control room with all these gauges, and he was like checking them.
Check it pressure specifically.
Yeah, checking pressure, which probably means it's like a weird Earth metaphor for someone checking the pressure of hell or something like that, or heaven even.
Yeah, it was like an air or water pressure valve thing. I don't know. I mean, my assumption is it's seeding to show, because obviously it was going off the scale, which usually means explosions if you don't sort it out, right?
Mm.
And then he kind of treats it, but then he just sits back down. He doesn't really care. But my thought is maybe something will actually explode, like literally explode next week, because he just doesn't care enough to stop it, or he doesn't notice.
Maybe. I don't know. My mind jumped to like, oh, this is actually in heaven or hell, and this like is them monitoring the tension on Earth or whatever. Like that's kind of where my head jumped. I don't know if that's just years of watching Lost and everything meaning something, but I will say this: Lost, without spoiling anything, Lost always did a good job of like throwing you into like a really weird scene like that, but it would always feel at least somewhat relevant to what went on in the episode. Them ending it with this, where it had no context whatsoever, and then just
it's ended, a bit off, wasn't it?
It just felt weird. Like you'd have been better off putting that at the start of like next week's episode.
Yeah, it almost feels like a post-credit scene, like that sort of thing where it's like, just like here's a tease. Like it should have been in like the next time almost.
But yeah, maybe like even then, I feel like it's so like vague like that. I feel like there has to be some little hook, something that you either recognize or you can see some tangible like link to something.
It was out of place, yeah.
If that had been the opening scene and then there was another scene at the end with it, and you could sort of tell by the two of them together, like how it in some way thematically connected to things, but it just
yeah, maybe if it had opened with the gauge a bit lower, and then it ends with that.
Yeah, even that would have been enough. Like just at the start of the episode, it's like just sort of in the sort of low middle. It's fine, where you want it to be, and then even go cut to it in the middle, as see it rising a little bit and see him sort of look over and be like, and then at the end you have that scene where it's going off the scale. Then you would be like, okay, right, there's a little, as simple as it is, there's a little story there of the thing going up.
And do you know what's even better if you'd done that? Could have used that to break up things and move Tulip later on.
There you go. I've just inadvertently fixed your problem.
You have.
Oh dear. That said, though, it was a fun episode. It had some excitement. It had some Jesse soul searching. It did a lot for his character moving him forward because he's dealing with his guilt, and he's obviously set up this thing where he's going to have one last Sunday in church.
Yeah.
Which it never confirmed he's actually getting it, but I suspect he is, mainly because I'm expecting something that happened in the book to finally happen.
Fair enough. It also just occurred to me how clever it was for them to air it on a Sunday night, with church day being Sunday. It literally only just occurred to me when you said that.
What, so you think season 2? So if he's not doing church services in season 2 will be on like a Saturday?
I mean, they could have done, but I mean, they probably won't move at that point. And I don't know if that was even the reason why they considered Sunday.
Probably not.
Probably not, but it's just a nice little thematic tie-in anyway, isn't it?
There you go. So no, it was a enjoyable episode.
It was, although I did notice how much of the humour comes from Cassidy.
Yeah, because I mean, we had Clive, and some of the stuff in canon was pretty funny. But yeah, he obviously has a lot of the humour in the show.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed, how last week we were wondering why the serve God thing didn't work. It finally clicked when he says about God, and he says the God of meat. So in his mind he did serve God, just not the same God that Jesse meant. He was serving his God of meat by killing the people.
The God of meat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I mean, it's a weird way to look at it, but if he interprets it that way, then I guess it's fine.
That's what he's getting at. I'm still not entirely sure I'm not entirely sure if I understand what he means by God of meat, but
you understand that's what he believes, which is what's important for it. Yeah.
Sure.
Weird, crazy bastard.
That's Preacher. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. It's always fun to hear. Like and subscribe, it helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.